Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Coffee, Tea, You and Me. This week, we have an exciting show for you. There are so many powerful, positive things that are going to be happening. We're so excited to see you, so excited to have you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your time and your attention. This week's episode is going to be super special. We're going to be rounding out a series we've been talking about over the last few weeks. We've been talking about creating the kinds of business plans that you need to create to make all your dreams come true. Really making sure that you have the right plans in place to generate all the activity you need to generate, create the revenue that you need to create, build the powerful teams that you have to build, everything you need to make happen in your entrepreneurial ventures, your dreams, your personal plans, whatever you're trying to create in life, you need a good plan to do it. And the VisionQuest process is a great way to start to begin to generate the types of plans that you need to generate in order to make your life happen the way you want it to happen. So we talked about how you put together the proper vision and a commitment to vision and what that does for you. We talked about how you build the right kinds of connections that makes the things that happen for you happen all around you. We talked about you setting up your goals and your strategies to create those goals. We talked about you developing the habits that you have to develop in order to keep things moving forward. And we ended up this conversation talking about mission and purpose and creating that kind of direction that you have to create. And the last few weeks, you've been breaking down just what mission is and how mission works. Right? We talked about how mission helps you develop what you need to develop. Who are you? What are you doing in the process? Making sure that everybody clearly understands what it is you're all about and what it is you're doing. And then we talked about how your mission helps you define, not just what you're doing, but who you're doing what you're doing for, right? Who is the who identifies with the action that you're trying to take, who needs to see it, who needs to understand it, who is represented through it. How are you going to do all those things with those people that you're going to need to do? But finally, the most important question that your sense of mission can bring about is answering that why. It's the purpose. The purpose that there's all of the power that you need to deliver to bring everything together. Everything we've talked about over these last several weeks since the end of last year about planning is coming together under this one question. Why? Why are you doing the things that you're doing? What does it mean to you? How do you do it in a way that resonates with the character and the competence of those around you, so that the best in them shows up, so the best in you shows up? That's what mission is essentially all about. Yes, it's going to ask you, you have a mission statement. It's going to say, this is what I am doing. This is going to define the space that I'm working in. This is what we're doing. And it's going to, this is who we're doing it for. This is who we are. This is who we're doing it for. That's all going to be, included and thought through in that statement. But essentially, everybody has to understand and resonate with the why, because the why drives all the energy and all the power and everything that needs to be driven to move the needle, to create the plans that you need to create and the actions that have to be done well, so that you can accomplish amazing things. Strong enough, then your how doesn't matter. Your why has to be strong. It has to matter. It has to be able to stand up on its own 2 feet. When the why doesn't matter, nothing else matters. And so you really, really do have to make sure that as you think about your sense of mission, as you write it down, as you come up with a mission mindset, you create that why. You make sure you understand that why. My friend Jason, who I'll talk to you about at the beginning of our talk today, really did understand why. He understood how to use his mission to propel him in even the most mundane tasks that had to be performed to accomplish his larger vision, his larger opportunities. It all boiled down to why. We're going to show you a little bit more about that about what Jason was talking about a little bit later in the conversation. Before we go there, I want to make sure I let you guys know that this is a labor of love for me. The reason I do the show every single week is because I know how complicated it is and how difficult it is for entrepreneurs and business leaders out there on a regular, consistent basis to come back to it, to get back to their plan, to get back to execution, to get back to the desire to move themselves forward, the purpose that they feel called to and driven to work in. It's very, very difficult. I saw basically a master class earlier this week that was done, and it was recorded at the National Association of Blacks in Journalism. And this master class was done by Tyler Perry. And Tyler Perry broke down, I'm going to put a link to it in the chat so that you guys can see it when you get a chance. But what Tyler Perry broke down in this masterclass was essentially what I want to talk to you about today. And that's probably how it even came up my radar. I was doing my research for today's discussion, and I can't explain to you better than he could why you have to be so plugged into what you're doing. You have to be so plugged into your mission, and there's so many good, solid reasons why you have to be plugged into your mission, which we're going to go over a little bit later, but I want to make sure you just get a hint of what we're talking about there. We're going to set this up so that it works really well. So make sure that you pay attention to today's course. Make sure you pay attention. If you haven't paid attention to anything we've done in the last 25 lessons, and this is how many lessons are in this series, right? If you haven't paid attention to what we've done in the last 24, 25 lessons, pay attention to this one. This is the one you want to share. This is the one that you're going to want to talk to all your friends about. This is the one that you're going to want to share with everybody that you know. Don't keep this a secret. Tell everybody, because it's going to matter so much to your business. It's going to matter so much to your endeavors. No matter what role you play in your life, if that role is as, a wife, a spouse, a husband, a contractor, a business leader, an association, a leader or member, all that's all that, the titles, whatever role that you pick up, what matters most is that you have a sense of mission, that you can explain it, that you can talk to it, that you can speak to it and invite others into it. That's what matters most, to move the human race forward, to move the family forward, to move everything we want to do as people forward. Mission is such a critical aspect of doing that. And I want you to make sure that you get that and you pay attention to that reality. Okay, let's take a quick break and then we get right into it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is Coffee Tea, You and Me. This is Coach Powell coming to you live out of my basement apartment, looking for opportunities to work with entrepreneurs, business leaders, trying to help as many people as I possibly can lift themselves out of the situation they happen to be in and move themselves forward. These last 24 episodes of Coffee Tea, You and Me have been dedicated to understanding the whole entire VisionQuest90 planning system and what I've done to put it together. If you want to start watching this from episode 1 of now, you're going to get a full deep dive training into everything you need to do to have alignment with your activity, your passions, with people around you. Everything you need to know is all right here. We're going to end this series and probably do a wrap up next week. But today we're talking about the most important aspect of it. Everything you shared over the last 4 weeks. And that's the why, the purpose, the mission. What is that in your process that drives it all the way home for you, that makes it all pull together for you and everybody around you, that helps energize you and create the focus that you need to create to keep pushing you forward. Again, this is one of the most powerful statements and one of the most powerful ideas and concepts that I think I'm going to ever get to share. And so I really want you to pay attention to it. Take out your pencils, take out your paper, write down notes, ask questions, engage completely. Listen, if you're following us in the chat and you want us to, give a shout out to something that you're doing, put your information in the chat. Don't be shy. If you have questions that you have that you want to follow up on those questions, again, put those questions in the chat. Let us know who you are, what you're all about, where you're coming from. We want to know if you have a mission that you're trying to accomplish, throw that in the chat as well. Let us know what you're up to. Let us know, what you believe in, what it is that you feel like you're called to do, who it is that you need and want to serve, what wakes you up every day and allows you to focus and allows you to put your boots on again and allows you to put that cape on again and allows you to keep moving forward. What creates the hero moments for you? Where is that energy coming from? You got to be able to answer those questions. You got to be able to speak to those questions. You got to be able to, that's got to drive you. When I think about the entrepreneurs that I get to serve every day, I get excited because I realize that not only am I called to help end some of the drama, some of the trauma, some of the negative experiences that they have to experience or that they encounter in their entrepreneurial journeys, I get a chance to be a balm to some of that. I get a chance to soothe some of that. I get a chance to make sure that people don't make all the mistakes and fail as a result to get back on the horse and keep trying, lose their sense of perseverance, right? And forget to show up when it's going to really matter again and again and again and again. That's what I get to do. Me, Coach Powell, I get to do that kind of good stuff. And I want you to be able to do the kind of stuff that you want to do, the stuff that makes your heart align with opportunity and love and compassion to share with your fellow man. That's what we're talking about today. We're talking about purpose. We're talking about purpose and all that it possibly can do to enliven your mission, to bring everything into that mission that's going to matter, that makes it relevant, that makes it special, that makes it uniquely you and what you can bring to the table and design to elevate everything else around you from. All right. So I know some of you are watching the show. Some of you are watching for the first time. Some of you all are friends. And listen, it's a link to our new Leverage Up conference that's coming up at the end of July. This is going to be a super special conference. I can't say enough about it. I've been honing the craft, looking for better and better opportunities to speak to you all, to help you all grow your entrepreneurial ventures, your dreams. And this particular conference, this Leverage Up conference, is going to be focused on all of the things that are happening in our world and how you can leverage not just the things that are going to the left, but the things that are going correct as well, right? So obviously right now, as I'm talking to you, our government is trying to figure out how to handle its financial matters. It's trying to figure out, what's going to happen, if we have to go into a deep recession. How are we going to work our way through it? How are we going to do what we need to do? And as those who are in business or thinking about being in business out there, this is a tough time. Not that there's ever been an easy time to be in business, right? This is a particularly time. COVID is on the uptick. China is about to probably have more COVID cases than it's had in the last year. And it's growing crazy, like crazy. It's expanding. And what happens in China will eventually happen everywhere else. Or what they're saying is actually this new strain of COVID has happened everywhere else, and now China's finally getting it, which means there'll probably a new strain come out of China as a result of this strain that we all have to contend with somehow, some way. So we go back into another global pandemic situation. Who knows what the future is going to hold? And those who weren't prepared for it the first time certainly aren't prepared for it this time. Those who were able to survive the last one issue, I know how hard it was. But I want you to know that if it is for you, you can do it. If it is for you, if you're called to do it, just do it. And you're supposed to be here. You're supposed to be trying this Herculean thing called entrepreneurship and business leadership. You're not supposed to give up. You're not supposed to quit on your dreams, on your passions. They were put there in your heart for a reason. And, you need to go after it 100%. Give it everything you got. You're not going to be happy with it if you don't. And you're not going to be able to live the life that you want to live if you let your dreams die on the vine without giving it everything you got. If you're giving it everything you got and all you got left, well, then that's good for you. There's nothing else you can do. You need to sit back and wait. Retool, re-energize, come at it again. Remember, your mission is going to help you do all this kind of good stuff. So if you know anything, if you want to attend the Leverage Up Conference, go ahead and click on the buttons. You can get your ticket, get set up so that you don't miss anything. It's going to be phenomenal. Today's talk, we're talking about on Coffee Tea, You and Me, what's critical about your mission. How's it working? How do you use it? It's episode number 24. Mission, as I said earlier, helps you focus the ultimate purpose, the ultimate why. When I first met Jason, I talked to you about earlier today, he himself as a life-giving transportation expert. Because of his work, people, thousands of people, had access to life-preserving clean water, while at the same time they were able to remove unhealthy toxins and dirt from their businesses, from their homes, from their lives. You see, as a plumber, he understood, and he never forgot that helping us all live much better, healthier lives. And although we may take his word for granted, he approached every moment of every day on the job with joy and gladness, because he knew that we cannot live the lifestyles that we wanted to live if he and his cohorts didn't do the work that they had the opportunity, the blessing, the capabilities, the talent, and the experience to do. No matter what he was doing, even if he was crawling through the muck and the mire, trying to get done the things he needed to get done to do his job, he would always have in his mind and thinking of children frolicking in the water in the background, in their pools, in their backyards, drinking, playing with bubbles, doing all the things they would do, creating water balloon fights and all those fantastic things they were doing. He thought of their grandparents who might be watching over them, having tea or coffee or sitting around and just talking to each other, having a cool drink. All of which could not happen if he couldn't do the things that he had to do for those families, for those entrepreneurs, for those business leaders. They couldn't live their lives. They couldn't do their businesses. They couldn't accomplish things they needed to accomplish in their lives in a healthy, well way if he didn't do the thing that he needed to do. Because water is life. To be able to bring it, to be able to deliver it, to be able to share it with people and have people use it in a way that we have to use it, make a difference. Again, we might take it for granted, but Jason never took it for granted. He brought such an excitement to his life. He brought such an excitement to his work every day, day in and day out, day after day, because he never forgot who he was, what he was doing, and more importantly, why he was doing it. He was so good at what he did. Everybody and his peers around him became to know him as the master teacher. Because when you got a chance to experience what Jason would bring to the table in a class, say for the Plumbers Association or for the local union, you got to enthuse with his excitement for pipe fitting, right? Or for creating the right types of structures so that water can be delivered properly in a building. You know, some of you and I might think, oh, God, horrific, boring, right? Not people who had a chance to experience what Jason was about. Today, he's happily installed in the Plumbers Hall of Fame. That's how brilliant he was at what he did. And that's how special he was to the community of associates that followed him, that believed in him, that used him as a benchmark of what perfection in the field was like. Think about it. Wouldn't it be great to be in whatever your industry's Hall of Fame is in your lifetime so that you can see it? You know, when they're putting up your pictures or, you know, talking about your stories, and you're right there, alive, in your right mind, healthy, you know, ready to receive all the accolades for all of the work, everything that you put into creating life that you want to create, using your talent and your skills in a way that others can say, yay, you, good for you, go for it, congratulations, thank you. I can't imagine a greater gift to a life than to have your peers and the people around you that love you validate that the work that you do is so special and so important, and elevate you to the top of the field. Who is achieving the high honors in your world? Who is making those career, intense, strategic opportunities happen in their business, in your world? Who's doing it? Who's the benchmark? Why not you? How long is it going to get there? What do you have to do to reignite your passion, to get the fire underneath you that you need to get cooking, to really, really grow this thing? You know, earlier we talked about mission. We talked about how mission helps you develop your purpose, right? How does mission help you define who you are and who you're serving? How does it get to what you're trying to accomplish? And mission does all those things. But again, there's nothing more powerful than how mission gives a sense of purpose that answers that great question. The great question is why? Why do we do it? Now, of course, as I looked out there and started to do some research for this discussion, you know, I came across some great social psychologists who have studied this in every way they possibly can. And one of the best facts, one of the best pieces of information that I'm going to share with you right now came from a doctor named Bia Bocalandro. Dr. Bocalandro discovered that when you understand your why, when you can really, really grab hold onto the purpose and the passion for what you do so well that you can connect it and be aligned in your actions and in your speaking and everything that you do, when you can do that, then your level of performance, the level of performance of your teams, the level of performance of every individual on the team rises to the 80th percentile. Now, without that, most teams and organizations may perform around sort of the mean, the 50th to 55 percentile. But when they can take that power and that passion, that purpose and that passion, and create that alignment that everybody understands and everybody can articulate and everybody can feel a sense of value inside of, that level of performance rises to the 80th percentile. Now, that's not a good enough reason for you to focus on what's inside of you, what you already know to be true, what you already know in terms of your value and what you want to bring to the table and your mission and what you want to create in the universe, the statement of who you want to be, the reason you want to be, the thing that you want to do and become a part of. I don't know what else can motivate you, but let me try to bring you to a couple key ideas. When you do not align your person, your purpose, and your passion, when you cannot figure it out, one of the things that happens is you get turned into an unmotivated underperformer. It becomes impossible for you to have the fight that you need to have. It becomes impossible for you to escalate your performance to a level of excellence or achieving above the expectations that might be on you or your career or your job description or whatever you're doing, right? When you're not plugged into the mission, when you can't see how you're valued, when you don't understand how you're delivering value every single day, day in and day out, it's impossible for you to elevate your level of performance. That's thing one. Thing two, and this is critical, when you don't have proper alignment over time of your passion and your purpose, it really undermines your physical health, right? And that physical stress that you put yourself on as you're trying to force yourself literally a round peg into a square hole every day, day in and day out, it makes you age faster. It makes you eat and drink things that you shouldn't eat and drink at a pace where you shouldn't eat and drink them, right? You don't give your body time to recover. You may find yourself in some type of addictive behavior that leads to excessive weight gain, diabetes, cancers, other forms of illness that will take over your body. You start to lose sleep, which will cause other forms of physical and mental issues. You begin to have a less ability to focus, kick on early Alzheimer's. All types of things could go wrong, and then the worst thing that happens, not only do you underperform, not only do you start to develop so much stress in your life that you cannot continue to even do anything, right? The last thing is you lose sight of any type of quality of life. You lose sight of any type of happiness. Your ability to become happy, to generate happiness, joy, it gets greatly diminished. You socially isolate. You create problems for other people that weren't there before. All because you are unable to connect your purpose and your passion in a way that aligns to opportunity and generates what you need to generate to move your life forward. Guys, I don't know if you got it yet, but what I'm trying to communicate to you is how vital having a sense of purpose, a strong, enduring sense of purpose is to your very existence. As a human being, we need it. Purpose drives us. Every act that we contribute to making the world a better place, every act that we contribute to serving others, every time we decide to do something that is of value to ourselves and to the universe, we're acting out on purpose. Then there's a term I want to teach you. This is a term, again, that I learned from Dr. Bolacandro. Let me make sure I got it right, names right. Boccalandro, Boccalandro, Dr. Boccalandro. The term called job purposing. I love this term. The reason why I love this term is because it allows you to take whatever activities that you think you're doing, that you may think are mundane, but attach them to purpose, and all of a sudden they're not mundane anymore. They become fun. It becomes exciting. It becomes an opportunity for you to double down on what it is you're doing in a way that becomes exciting and interesting, right? When you can learn job purposing, which is the act of making meaningful work-based contributions to others or societal causes, right? When you can literally take whatever you're doing and attach it to a contribution that you get to make to others, right? You now have something to be grateful for as you do it. You now have something to think about how blessed you are to be able to do the thing that you're doing as you're doing it. I don't care what it is you're doing. I don't care if it's raking the grass outside. I don't care if it's, dragging around the hoses you got to drag around to water your lawn, or, fixing the sink that you've been, looking at for years, or whatever it is that you're doing. If you can add purpose to it, right? If you can figure out how it creates purpose, it helps others to identify and create their purpose. Good on you, right? If you do this well, your mission concept, your idea, the statements that you make will always prompt you and your team as to the reason you are doing what you're doing. It will provide a compelling sense of motivation, a justification for your actions. Maybe there's some advantage of some type, right? Maybe there's some kind of way that you are leveling the profit or the value to be obtained, right? Super, super important stuff. Again, the more you can make sure that everybody on your team and everyone that you work with is interested and can find use for all of the activities that need to be done that generate everything towards your mission, the more and more important it becomes. The more important that value proposition grows within you, grows within the people that are around you. My girl Maya Angelou said it best. Success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. When you're on purpose and yet alignment you have between purpose and passion, not only can you find ways to like what you do, but you can find ways to like how you do what you do. And you can ask yourself, how can I do it even better? Whatever it is can become exciting. It can become interesting. One of the greatest gifts that I think the world has ever received is an organization called Share Our Strength. Now, Share Our Strength, you can look it up. It's one of the strongest organizations on the planet. And their essential mission is to end hunger and poverty in the United States and abroad. They believe that everyone has a strength and an ability to share and help ensure that every individual can live a healthy and productive life. That is their mission statement. When you listen to that mission statement and you understand what they are about and who they want to serve, and realizing that how they want to do it is by getting everyone to share their talents and their gifts, their opportunities with others, such that they can end hunger and poverty. Now, some of you all may think it's impossible, but your mission statement doesn't have to be possible. It just has to be something that gets you on fire. It has to be something that moves the needle. It has to be something that excites and invites others to show up, to step up, to do the thing that needs to be done. It doesn't have to be doable, right? It doesn't have to be so not I don't mean doable in terms of impossible to approach or to attack, but it doesn't have to be doable in terms of something that we're gonna achieve. Show our strength. When it achieves its mission, finally, there will be no hunger and no poverty in the U.S. And again, that we might not ever live to see that day. But Show Our Strength is an organization that can live in perpetuity. It can live well beyond you and I, well beyond the talents of the individuals in our future generations. And at some point, they may come to a conclusion of their mission. Who knows? But it's not the mission creator's responsibility to end the mission. It's the mission creator's responsibility to make sure that there is a mission and that there is something for everybody to put their shoulder to the plow to push even harder to achieve. It doesn't have to be clear. It doesn't have to be doable, but it does have to be approachable, and it has to be interesting. It has to be compelling, right? These are things that a good mission statement is going to do. Now, there are some mission statements you're going to hear out there that are quite vague, quite ambiguous. You don't really know exactly what they're up to or how they're up to it. But it doesn't make it less important. Take this one, for instance. Nike's mission is, and they say this, our mission is to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. By the way, if you have a body, you're an athlete. Nike wants to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. And if you have a body, you are an athlete. Now, in this mission statement, they're creating some tension that I don't agree with, but I understand it. Because they can't say, we want to create such a powerful athletic material and clothing and shoes and equipment that you don't buy from anybody else but us, so that we can be profitable and continue to provide great products and services to the universe. That mission statement wouldn't fly. It would be true, right? And I'm not suggesting that Nike's mission statement isn't true or authentic. I am suggesting it's not all that it could be, and it's not all. No for-profit organization in their mission statement says we exist to make a profit. Our stakeholders have to be happy. The people that invest in us expect us to be here for the long term, to make sure that therefore if they have our stock in their 401k portfolio, that it's working well, right? They're not saying that stuff in the mission statement, but that doesn't mean it's not there. It doesn't mean it's not implied. For people who understand what corporations are and what corporations do, that's always implied. So you don't have to have a mission statement that's absolutely so crystal clear, that's absolutely so buttoned up that everything that's possible it can be stated is stated in it. All it really has to do is tell us what you do, who you serve, and why. In some way, it has to share that information, because that's the juice, right? We've always known this. Even in biblical times, they knew how important it was to drive home the mission. If you've ever read the Bible, you know that every statement that is made, every declaration that is made in that book is all driving towards the mission, right? Which is to understand and know that God has got this thing called life in his hands. He created it. He's inspiring it. He's making it all work. And the more you become intimately familiar with that, the happier your life gets to be. The ancient writers of the Bible kind of knew that all we had to do is find ways to plug our lives and our activities and our gifts and talents into the useful mission, right? The Bible made it that they believe that all human beings are well-designed, purpose-driven machines, and once we identify and accept our purpose, all will be right with the world. Passage after passage reminds us and tells us how passion can easily tempt us and even destroy us if not aligned appropriately with mission. Through knowledge, through meditation, through reflection, we become more aligned with our fundamental purpose. We can discover our great why because it's in all of us. We can live a life of honor, of compassion, of usefulness, and well-being. These are words I lifted right out of the Bible. Think about that, right? I already shared with you what Dr. Bocalandro says, right? But back in Bible days, they were talking about this stuff, right? If you want to get it done right, like if you want to get life done right, have a purpose, have a mission. Because if you do this, if you do that, right? If you do that, you're going to have honor, compassion, usefulness, and well-being. It's always been tied to performance. It's always been tied to having a sense of honor and compassion. I don't know how many of you know Dr. Carol Dweck. Again, one of my favorite sociologists. Her, Mark Cuban, and so many other great motivators of our actions and activities suggest that there's an amazing link to purpose and that we can control and even develop that link over time. But we got to be on purpose about it. We got to be on fire about it. And, you know, in my latest paper on mission, I have exercises that I invite you to try. And for those of you all who are super on fire about what I'm talking about today and you'd like to learn more, you see my information scrolling across the screen. Reach out to me. Text me and say, I'd like to have the earliest edition of your next training program on mission. I don't even have a title for it yet. I just put some of the finishing touches on it. I'll give it to you. I'll give you the PDF file so that you can read it for yourself. Some of these exercises are so powerful. I don't have time to go into them. But if you think about some of the things that mission can create for you, you can ask yourself, how can I use my mission to develop my usefulness? Right? How can I use my mission to create and generate a sense of well-being for myself? How can I use my mission to develop compassion for others and to show and share my compassion for others and create an honor, a sense of honor for my life and the people around me? Just pondering those questions and providing some answers to yourself. Go out, find them, talk to your friends about them. Those are just quick exercises that you can do. Man, they're not quick and they're not easy because it's going to take some effort in reflection and in thinking and in writing. But once you got it down, you can create a mission that ignites the world, that creates the fire underneath you and everybody that you get to play with, everybody you get to serve, everybody you get to touch can be enthused and infused with your sense of purpose and your sense of passion. This is the last episode. We're going to cover this. I'm going to do a reroute next week of everything we've gone over the last 24 weeks. And we're going to finish up this whole series and move on to the next series, which, quite frankly, I haven't quite figured out if I'm going to stick with what I have on the schedule yet. And so if there's something that you guys want to talk about, something that you want to share, something that you want to learn more about, experience or express, definitely hit me up. Definitely put your information in the chat. Talk to me. Let me know. what you're thinking about. If you get a chance to get the tickets to Leverage Up, yes, do it, please. Come on out, enjoy yourself. We're gonna have a hoo-ha good time. We're gonna talk about some stuff that is going to be so purposeful and powerful. The audience is going to be pretty small, so you get a chance to get in and talk to some of the most amazing people I've ever had a chance to assemble. And I'm so proud of all of them for volunteering their time and their expertise in this way for all of us. Definitely get your ticket. Definitely jump on board. If for some reason you can't afford the ticket now, you need to reach out to me right away, because I may have a few scholarships we can give out. But once they're gone, they're gone. I love you guys. Thank you so much for paying attention. Thank you very much for being around. This is Coffee Tea, You and Me. This is Coach Powell. I'm signing out. You all have a great day.